The Galactic Arena. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, the Terran Confederation was a newcomer, a fledgling civilization taking its first tentative steps onto the cosmic stage. Surrounded by ancient and advanced alien races, humanity found itself the underdog, often mocked and dismissed by their galactic neighbors. The Zorthu Imperium, the Vinorian Star Kingdoms, the Qualat Hive. These were the superpowers that dominated known space. With their gleaming armadas and centuries of conquest, they regarded the upstart humans as little more than primitive upstarts, barely worthy of their attention. But the Terrans had a secret weapon, one that would soon shake the very foundations of the galactic order. Deep within the shipyards of Earth, a marvel of human ingenuity and determination was nearing completion. The TCS Invictus, the first of a new class of dreadnoughts. As the mighty warship prepared for its maiden voyage, its young captain, Ilara Vance, stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the stars beyond. She knew the weight of responsibility that rested on her shoulders, the hopes and dreams of an entire species. The Invictus was no ordinary vessel. It was a statement, a defiant challenge hurled into the face of a hostile universe. And as the ship's engines rumbled to life, Captain Vance couldn't suppress a smile. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity was truly capable of. Little did she know that her first mission would set in motion a chain of events that would reshape the cosmos itself. The Terran Confederation was about to take center stage, and the Invictus would lead the charge into a brave new era. A fateful encounter. The TCS Invictus glided through the depths of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the distant starlight. Captain Ilara Vance sat in her command chair, watching the view screen with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This was the moment she had trained for, the chance to prove herself and her ship. Suddenly, the sensors lit up with urgent warnings. The Invictus had stumbled upon a tense standoff on the fringes of Terran space. A massive alien battle fleet, bristling with weapons, loomed over a helpless space colony. Their intentions clear. Vance magnified the image, her heart sinking as she recognized the distinctive markings of the Zorthu Imperium. The aliens were infamous for their cruelty and their disdain for lesser species, and now they had set their sights on this defenseless outpost. The Zorthu commander's face appeared on the view screen, a cruel sneer twisting his features. Well, he drawled. What do we have here? A human ship, thinking it can play with the big boys. Vance steeled herself, refusing to be intimidated. This is Captain Ilara Vance of the TCS Invictus. You are threatening a peaceful colony in Terran space. Withdraw immediately. The Zorthu commander laughed, a harsh, grating sound. Or what, little human? You'll scold us to death. Your pitiful ship is no match for my armada. We'll swat you aside and take what we want. Around the bridge, the crew looked to Vance, fear and uncertainty etched on their faces. They all knew the odds they faced. The Zorthu fleet outnumbered and outgunned them 100 to 1. But Vance didn't flinch. She had a duty to protect the innocent, to stand up to tyranny no matter the cost. And she had a secret weapon, one the Zorthu couldn't begin to imagine. This is your last warning, she said, her voice calm and cold. Leave now or face the consequences. The Zorthu commander's eyes narrowed, his smile turning predatory. You've just signed your own death warrant, human. Prepare to be destroyed. As the alien fleet moved into attack position, Vance took a deep breath. The time for talk was over. The Invictus was about to show the galaxy what it could do. Activate the singularity cannon, she ordered. Let's show these bastards what happens when you mess with humanity. The wrath of Invictus. Deep within the bowels of the TCS Invictus, the singularity cannon thrummed with power, its core pulsing with an eerie black light. It was the culmination of decades of research and experimentation, a weapon that harnessed the very fabric of space-time. On the bridge, Captain Ilara Vance watched the Zorthu fleet close in, their weapons charging with malevolent energy. She knew she had only one chance to turn the tide, to save not only the colony, but the honor of the Terran Confederation. Singularity cannon at maximum charge, the weapons officer reported, his voice tense with anticipation. Ready to fire on your command. Vance nodded, her eyes never leaving the view screen. Target their flagship. Let's send a message they won't forget. The Invictus shuddered as the cannon unleashed its fury, a beam of pure darkness lancing out into the void. It struck the heart of the Zorthu Armada, and for a moment, the universe held its breath. Then, chaos erupted. The Zorthu flagship imploded, collapsing in on itself like a tin can crushed by an invisible fist. A miniature black hole bloomed in its place, hungrily devouring the ships caught in its gravitational embrace. The Zorthu commander's face contorted in disbelief and horror as his once proud fleet was reduced to shattered debris and twisted metal. The impossible had happened. A single human ship had brought an entire armada to its knees. On the Invictus bridge, a cheer went up as the crew watched the alien ships fall. They had done the impossible, and in doing so, they had changed the course of history. But Vance knew this was just the beginning. The Zorthu would not take this humiliation lightly. They would be back, with revenge in their hearts and a thirst for human blood. As the Invictus moved to assist the battered colony, Vance couldn't shake the feeling that this victory, as stunning as it was merely the opening salvo in a war that would shake the galaxy to its core. The Terran Confederation had drawn a line in the stars, and the Invictus would be at the forefront, ready to defend humanity's place in the cosmos, no matter the odds. Turning the tide. News of the TCS Invictus' astonishing victory over the Zorthu spread like wildfire, rippling across the galactic communication networks. An upstart human dreadnought had single-handedly defeated an entire alien armada. It was a feat that defied belief, a triumph of audacity and cunning that sent shockwaves through the established order. In the halls of power on Earth, the Terran Confederation's leaders saw an opportunity. For too long, humanity had been pushed around, relegated to the sidelines by the older, more powerful civilizations. But now, with the Invictus as their spearhead, they had a chance to seize the initiative. Emboldened by Captain Ilara Vance's success, the Confederation launched a series of daring raids and surprise attacks on the once untouchable alien empires. Human fleets, led by the Invictus and her sister ships, struck deep into enemy territory, hitting strategic targets and fading away before the stunned defenders could muster a response. The Zorthu, the Vinorians, the Qualoth, one by one, the proud alien powers found themselves reeling, their aura of invincibility shattered by the tenacity and skill of human warriors. The galaxy watched in awe as the Terran Confederation racked up victory after improbable victory. At the forefront of this bold new offensive was Captain Vance and her intrepid crew. The Invictus became a legend, a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit. Tales of their exploits spread far and wide, inspiring a new generation of Terrans to take up the fight. From the glittering core worlds to the remote frontier outposts, the name Ilara Vance became synonymous with courage, leadership, and the unbreakable human will. She and her ship were the tip of the spear, the vanguard of a resurgent Terran Confederation. But even as the victories mounted, Vance knew that the war was far from over. The alien empires were proud and ancient, and they would not yield their power easily. They would gather their strength, forge new alliances, and strike back with a fury that would shake the stars. As the Invictus plotted its next move, Captain Vance couldn't escape the feeling that the greatest challenge was yet to come. The Terran Confederation had seized the momentum, but to truly secure humanity's place in the galaxy, they would have to face the full might of the alien war machine. And when that day came, the Invictus would be ready, leading the charge into the fire, a shining beacon of hope in the darkness of space. The final confrontation. The Zorthu Imperium, the Vinorian Star Kingdoms, and the Qualoth Hive, united by their hatred for the upstart humans and their desire for vengeance. The three greatest powers of the galaxy put aside their ancient rivalries and forged an unholy alliance. Their goal was simple: to crush the Terran Confederation once and for all. Across the stars, the alien armadas gathered, a colossal force the likes of which the galaxy had never seen. Thousands of ships, millions of warriors, all bent on the utter annihilation of humanity. In the face of this overwhelming threat, the Terran Confederation mustered its own forces, every available ship and soldier rallying to the cause. At the head of this defiant fleet stood the TCS Invictus, the symbol of human resilience, ready to lead the charge into the fiercest battle in galactic history. Captain Ilara Vance stood on the bridge of her mighty dreadnought, her eyes fixed on the endless ranks of enemy ships arrayed before her. She knew the odds were stacked against them, that by all rights they should have been swept aside like leaves before a hurricane. But she also knew the strength that lay within the human spirit, the unbreakable will that had carried her species from the caves of Earth to the stars themselves. And as she looked out at her crew, at the determined faces of the men and women who had followed her into the jaws of hell, she felt a surge of pride and determination. "This is it," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "This is our moment. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity is made of. Today, we fight not just for our own survival, but for the right of every species to live free from tyranny and oppression." As one, the Terran fleet surged forward, the Invictus at its head, its singularity cannon primed and ready. The alien armada responded with a barrage of fire that seemed to set the very void ablaze. And so began the greatest battle the galaxy had ever witnessed, a titanic clash of technologies and ideologies, of courage and desperation. The Invictus danced through the heart of the enemy formation, its cannon sowing black holes and devastation with every shot. Around it, human ships fought with a skill and tenacity that belied their youth, their crews driven by a fierce determination to protect their homes and their loved ones. Against all odds, against all expectations, they held the line, trading blow for blow with the mightiest warships the galaxy had ever known. But even as the battle raged, Captain Vance knew that victory would come at a terrible cost. The Terran fleet was outnumbered and outgunned, and every moment saw more brave human lives snuffed out in the cold of space. Yet still they fought on, driven by the knowledge that this was a battle they could not afford to lose. For if they fell here, the Terran Confederation would fall with them, and the galaxy would once again be in the grip of alien tyranny. And so, with fire in their hearts and steel in their spines, the humans of the Invictus and her sister ships stood fast, ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of all they held dear. A new dawn. The battle raged for days, a cataclysmic conflagration that lit up the stars and shook the very foundations of the galaxy. The Terran fleet, battered but unbroken, fought with a ferocity and determination that stunned their alien foes. At the heart of the maelstrom, the TCS Invictus and Captain Ilara Vance stood firm, a bastion of human courage in the face of overwhelming odds. Again and again, the mighty dreadnought unleashed its singularity cannon, each shot a lance of pure annihilation that carved great wounds in the ranks of the enemy. But even the Invictus, for all its power and resilience, could not escape unscathed. Its hull was scared and pitted, its systems strained to the breaking point by the relentless onslaught. And yet, somehow, miraculously, it endured, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. And then, just when all seemed lost, just when it appeared that the sheer weight of numbers would finally overwhelm the Terran defenders, something unexpected happened. The alien alliance, so carefully forged in the fires of hate and vengeance, began to fracture. The Zorthu, ever prideful and unyielding, refused to accept that they could be bested by mere humans. They broke ranks, hurling themselves at the Invictus in a final desperate bid for glory. The Vinorians, sensing weakness, turned on their erstwhile allies, seeking to claim the spoils of victory for themselves. And the Qualoth, enigmatic and inscrutable, simply vanished, disappearing into the void as suddenly as they had arrived, their motives forever a mystery. In the chaos and confusion, the Terran fleet seized its chance. With the Invictus leading the charge, They drove forward, smashing through the disoriented alien ranks like a thunderbolt. And as the last enemy ships fled or fell, a great cheer went up from the human crews, a cry of triumph and relief that echoed across the stars. The battle was won, but the cost had been high. The Terran fleet was a shadow of its former self, its ships battered and its ranks thinned by the savage fighting. And yet, as Captain Vance surveyed the field of victory, she knew that the sacrifices had not been in vain. For in this moment, the galaxy had changed forever. The old order, the ancient tyrannies that had held sway for so long, had been shattered. In their place, a new power was rising, a power born of human courage, ingenuity, and sheer, unyielding will. As the Invictus limped back to Earth, its hull scared but its spirit unbroken, Captain Vance couldn't help but reflect on the long road ahead. The Terran Confederation had won a great victory, but the struggles were far from over. There would be new challenges to face, new enemies to confront, new worlds to explore and civilizations to contact. But as she looked out at her crew, at the brave men and women who had fought and bled and triumphed alongside her, she knew that humanity would be ready. For they had proven, beyond any shadow of a doubt, that they belonged among the stars, that they had the strength, the courage, and the indomitable spirit to forge their own destiny in this vast and wondrous galaxy. Invictus leading the way, a shining beacon of hope and determination, they would face whatever the future held with heads held high and hearts afire. A new dawn was rising, a dawn of human ascendancy and galactic wonder. And the Terran Confederation, tempered in the crucible of war and united by an unbreakable bond of fellowship, would be there to greet it. For they were humanity, the children of Earth, the inheritors of the stars themselves. And their story, the story of the Invictus and all the brave souls who fought alongside her, would echo through the ages, a legend of courage and triumph that would never be forgotten. So ends the tale of the Terran dreadnought Invictus and her valiant crew, but their legacy endures, a shining testament to the indomitable human spirit, and a beacon of hope for all the generations yet to come.